And we're set for baseball from Columbia, and the first pitch fastball is in there for a strike, and away we go. Pimental ahead of Colin Shea. No balls and 2 strikes on the game's first batter, Colin Shea, who is in the lineup a little bit over a month ago when Lindenwood came here to Columbia, and Mizzou won a 1-run game.
Boy, and C.O. Pimental looking the part. That first pitch, just a shin-high fastball. He throws 70 of those, and he's going to have a nice outing tonight.
His 1-2 pitch to Shea, and he got him looking for strike 3. You're not kidding, Runes. Good-looking start for Pimental on the mound for Mizzou.
Yeah, no offense to Colin Shea, but this looked more like Pimental throwing a bullpen than actually throwing to live hitters. I mean, the fastball at the bottom of the zone, breaking ball for a strike, that's a clinic right there.
After a weekend out of the rotation, not pitching against Tennessee, 1 up, 1 down. Now Pimental sees Cam Edwards and starts him with a breaking ball for strike 1. Runes, Pimental's been the Saturday starter for most of the year. As you mentioned, he's been good in the weekends, especially early in SEC play.
Boy, you can see why. The hitters have a lot on their plate. You're going to see that breaking ball up in your eyes, and you're going to see that fastball at your shins. You really have to make a choice. Do I want to hunt the breaking ball up, or do I want to be on that fastball down?
And twists that outside. 3 straight off-speed pitches and no swing. Keeps Cam Edwards in there at 1-2. Pimental's only start where he had real trouble in the SEC was a couple of weeks ago against Georgia. A late swing, and protect me swing for Edwards keeps him in at 1-2.
Yeah, Georgia is a handful, obviously. You've got Corey Collins has got 1 million home runs in the leadoff spot, and then Slade Alford is built like an offensive tackle, and then, of course, Charlie Condon is having a nice year.
And another breaking ball. This rolled over to the right side, and it's scooped up by Danny Corona for out number 2.
And by nice year, Connor, I mean 29 home runs for Charlie Condon. Like, nice year if he was in the big leagues and the season was over. You would take 29 home runs.
And Runes, I feel like we've been saying this all year, that it's not insert month here yet, and he has that many home runs. We can say it for one more day. Charlie Condon has that many home runs. It's not May, as that ball comes up and in on Hocuff. And the most dangerous hitter in the Lindenwood lineup, with a little wake me up on the first pitch that he sees.
Goodness, it's got to be a fastball that he just, let's see. I think that's fastball. It just completely lost it. Yikes.
Well, that didn't look anything like the first 10 pitches that Pimental had thrown. Pinpoint those first 2 batters against Shea and Edwards. Now Hocuff, 1 pitch, 1 fastball to the top of the tower.
You know, it's kind of one of those pitches that is shanked so badly it's hard to know what it was. It traveled pretty straight, though. I gotta believe that's a fastball.
And I'm with you. Here's the cleanup hitter, Arnett, and Bryson Arnett with Pimental back in the zone on the first one. Arnett comes into this game trying to get it going again at the plate. 1 for his last 15. Runes, Pimental found it right away.
Yeah, he's and you know, for Lindenwood, the good news is I don't think Pimental's long for this game because they want to get him ready for the weekend, I would imagine.
His 0-2 is swung on and missed. Outside of 1 pitch, a dominant first inning.
And get guys out of there before they get exposed and run into a big inning.
I figured right around 1 time through the order. That might be the maximum for Rockers, who gets a first pitch ground ball over to Hocuff at first. Rockers is there to cover and retire Daniels on the first pitch of his day.
It is kind of fun, CL. Little submariner starting the game. We're playing it backwards today.
Yeah, he has been one of their back end guys at some points, but they're kind of going with the Tampa Bay Rays opener concept tonight. Low slot righty. Goes one pitch, one out. Now here's Jackson Lovich, who shows a bunt and jabs strike one into the backstop. I was going to say, Runes, we described the conditions in the top of the first. If that first play was any indication on where the wind was blowing, I think you got a picture-perfect view of how bad it's howling out to left center for these pitchers today. Hat came off for Rockers.
Yeah, how about that, right? That is, if you're hitting, you're looking to get right-handed hitters catch the ball out front, get it airborne to left.
Well, no contact made for Lovich, who's down on 3 pitches.
Well, you know, you think of a submariner and you think of just the fastball sinking, but for Rockers, this changeup is a real pitch. I mean, it's 70 to 74 so far tonight, and the Mizzou hitters have not enjoyed it to this point.
That thing dive bombing down to the back part of the plate for the first strikeout for Rockers. 4 pitches and 2 away against Daniels and Lovich. Now Danny Corona for Missouri, who's starting to heat up for the first time this year.
Yeah, Corona
great
came
sign
over
for
from
him.
Wake Forest. Oh, go ahead, Connor.
No, go for it. I was getting you there.
Yeah, Corona, you know, is famous, right? Like, he's a big guy in the portal from Wake Forest, big part of their College World Series team, and it's been not quite the same season for him, but certainly the talent is undeniable.
Carrick Jackson, as head coach, said that maybe a little bit of draft year pressure, being a junior now. It led to the slow start, but hit his first 2 homers of the year last week, one in the midweek against Missouri State, then in the first game against Tennessee. Good rip at that. It's 3-2. It wasn't just the power, it was the consistency in him stringing hits together. Really has Carrick Jackson encouraged. And this is the opposite way, and another base hit for Danny Corona. He stays warm after the big weekend against Tennessee. 2-out single in the first for Corona.
Boy, that's a great sign if you're Carrick Jackson. That's Danny Corona just running a good at bat, not being anxious, not forcing damage. Rockers is really not a guy that's just going to leave a ball up for you to hammer for extra bases. I like that Corona was patient and just takes his base hit the other way.
I kind of joked with Carrick Jackson when we talked to him yesterday that Carrick Jackson is the opposite field whisperer. He must have said opposite field or backside 25 times during our half-an-hour call or so. It's about 1 backside mention a minute.
Love it.
Cerna on this ball out to the gap in right center field. That's down. And off on the crack of the back, Corona makes the round to third base. And back-to-back singles for the Tigers, have him at first and third with 2 outs.
Part of this is really the blueprint for what Carrick Jackson wants. You know, you see this is a ball sitting up, and you're going to pull, you know, if you're thinking left center gap, you're going to pull just on your own. And I love that first to third by Corona. I know there's 2 outs, but there was no question of him stopping at second base.
So that sets the table for Justin Colon, who's taking his first at bat in a month. Hasn't played since the Vanderbilt series for Missouri the last weekend of March. A chance to reintroduce himself right away. Now in the driver's seat at 2-0.
Yeah, Colon's a toolsy defender and was a real name in recruiting a couple years ago, and good to see him back in the lineup.
2-0 green light. And he gives Trevor Austin a night off tonight. Austin, the starting third baseman for Missouri. Home run and RBI leader for the Tigers. 2-1 driven back to the middle. Short hop off the glove of Stellato, and Missouri gets the first run. First at bat for Cologne in a month, and the first run to the plate for the Tigers.
Well, that's clearly an error, but to me, Connor, if you're Carrick Jackson, you love these at-bats. Guys really focused on the middle of the field, not letting Rockers, Rockers a guy that wants to use your aggression against you, and the at-bats have been very disciplined these last 3 hitters.
And passes the bat to Jackson Beeman, who looks at one sub 70 miles an hour for ball 1. Back-to-back singles. Now the error for Stellato has Missouri in front after the first 2 batters were retired on 4 pitches. Tried the top of the zone, and it's 3-0.
That's a good take. I'm in on Jackson Beeman, Connor. He's physical, athletic, just young, and needs to play more.
You had one of Missouri's midweek games earlier in the year, right? And that was one of your big takeaways, is that you really like how this guy projects.
Yeah, 6'1", 230, and he looks like he could run too. I mean, he's carrying that weight well.
Keen eye also loads up the bases on the Beeman walk. So Matt Garcia out of the 7 hole gets a chance to take an at bat in this first inning with the bases loaded and 2 down. And in there for a strike. Almost like it took a couple batters from Mizzou to figure out where the slot is going to be for Rockers. A couple hard hit balls, Corona and Cerna. Cologne reached on the air, now Beeman on the walk.
Yeah, and I like that they're starting to feel the strike zone out a little bit. A lot more patience in these last few at-bats.
Another Mizzou hitter getting ahead. Garcia 2-1. Fouled straight back, evens up the count.
To your point, Theo, the swings have really changed, and Rockers clearly can't live in the middle of the plate, and so the patience of the Mizzou hitters, that's a good adjustment.
A ground ball out to second, chance at redemption for Stellato, and makes the play and gets Lindenwood out of it. Well, second all-time in wins, Coach Jamison, when he was the head coach here. And the first pitch runs inside from Jacoby, and he hits Chase Honeycutt.
Yeah, I would say, Theo, when Carrick Jackson brought Tim Jamison to Memphis with him, you felt like, man, that's an awesome hire to have as your pitching coach. Then when he brought him to Mizzou, you're like, okay, that's double awesome. Like, really, this is exactly who you want in the dugout with you as you sink your teeth into building this program in the SEC.
There's James Jett, swings and misses. Well, you have to put ego aside a little bit, right? If you're Tim Jamison, you come back to your old home, now in a different job.
I loved the way Coach Jamison put it. Is he said, like, you get into coaching because you love working with players and help them get better at their skills. And the further you get up the food chain in coaching, the further away from the players you get. And now he's back in his roots of being in the bullpen, working with pitchers.
He said it took him about 1.5 years to decide if he wanted to get back into it. Of course, he was doing a little bit of sitting in your chair, Runes.
And was great at it, too. I love listening to Coach Jay call games.
Yeah, he was good at it. A good pitching coach, too.
I love that Coach Jay talked about, like, when he got back into being a pitching coach, like, one of his favorite things, just working on the mound. Like, just making sure. Now, of course, it's turf mound here, but you just love that stuff.
2-2. And Jet swings and misses. Jacoby runs it in on him and has his first strikeout. Well, one of Tim Jamison's jobs before he came back to Missouri was at Southern Illinois, which is very familiar to one of the guys across the diamond tonight at Lindenwood dugout. P.J. Finnegan, the head coach. As Anthony Slotto looks upstairs. P.J. Finnegan, a Hall of Famer at his alma mater at Southern Illinois. Great two-way player, Runes. You guys had a great back and forth talking about that and how that's helping him as a head coach now.
Yeah, I mean, that, you know, really, in college baseball, where you have 11.7 scholarships, a good two-way player is, you know, double the money, right? Like you two players for the price of one. The problem is it's really hard. It's really hard to be just a hitter or just a pitcher, let alone both.
Finnegan's got a really interesting background the last couple years specifically. He was in the OVC at SIUE as an assistant for baseball, but he was also asked to be the interim softball head coach. Stellato draws the walk and 2 on with 1 out for Lindenwood at the top of the second.
Pretty cool how he described that experience too, CO. Just basically said, yeah, it helped me not feel like so much of a first-year head coach in this role because of running that softball program. And yeah, P.J. Finnegan just feels like an awesome hire for Lindenwood.
Yeah, agreed. He was named the coach in waiting last year, so he was an assistant for Lindenwood last year, and now gets the shot at his first Division I head coaching job in baseball. Had the softball experience before. Mitch Cummins trying to come through for him out of the 8th spot. This is a spot in the lineup for P.J. Finnegan they're still trying to figure out. Runes, we were going through the lineup yesterday with PJ, and we got 8 spots through, and he got to right field and said, you know what, I got about 4 guys that have been running in and out of right field this year, still trying to figure out who the right guy is.
Yeah, and those are tough decisions. You're going on hunches, you're going on scouting reports, you're watching BP, and you really, as a coach, you're just hoping one of those players gets hot and makes the decision for you.
2-2 from Jacoby. It is swung on and missed. And 2 strikeouts sandwiching the walk, and they're a 2-way.
Yeah, this fastball's got some interesting properties. It's a sinker. He pairs with a really good slider. You can see it just sneaks under Cummins' hands. Feels like it's going to be a hittable pitch, and next thing you know, it darts below your barrel.
So it's up to Funkhauser, 9th place hitter, takes ball 1. Just trying to flip it back to the top of the lineup with Colin Shea waiting next with 2 aboard. It's interesting, Runes. Like you said, it's got some good behavior, that sinker. Pairing it with the breaking ball, Caden Jacoby.
It's, yeah, like the good ones. That's beautiful, right? Now, it's not fully harnessed. It's like me training a dog. Like, it has moments, but it also has moments where you're embarrassed by the behavior. But he's missing some bats with it, too.
And a fly ball to right. This is playable for Beeman, and the inning is over.
Miss Hoover, Mississippi State, and then Ole Miss. And LSU threatening, and one of the teams that could do something about that is Mizzou. And you know Kerrick Jackson would love to take this club to Hoover in his very first season.
Well, those 2 teams right in front of Mizzou right now, LSU and Ole Miss. Mizzou lost 2 out of 3 at home to LSU earlier this month. They will not get a head-to-head chance against Ole Miss in the final 3 weeks.
It's just one of those experiences when you're building a program. It is such a big deal Hoover, the crowds, the pomp and circumstance. I mean, it really has a big league feel to it.
Yeah, that's what's at stake the final 3 weeks for Missouri, trying to get to that big game feel in Hoover. Starting with South Carolina this weekend. Auburn will be here in Columbia. That's a team that's also outside of that picture right now in 14th place, bottom of the SEC, and then at Mississippi State to close it. Drew Culbertson in a 3-2 count.
If I'm going to be an optimist, CO, like, hey, South Carolina just had a massive series win against Kentucky last weekend. So, you know, maybe they have a little hangover from that huge weekend, and you're getting them at home. Auburn has been the most gettable team in the league this year.
Lead-off walk, Drew Culbertson start the second inning.
Now at Mississippi State, CO, best of luck with that. Like that'll be an absolute circus environment. They're playing to host. Those crowds in Starkville are unreal. So if I was Carrick, I'd want to have the job done before you get to Stark Vegas.
Runes, you're doing so well. It was optimism, and then then the rain came.
Yeah, then pragmatism, all caps.
Jack Holubowski out of the 9-hole, DHing tonight for Carrick Jackson. Waving a miss. Mississippi State, the last team on the schedule for Mizzou, they're in that fight right now to join the conversation of what feels like it's become kind of a big four in the SEC at the top right now. Do you get that feeling too?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're really coming on. You know, Mississippi State, it's been 2 very rough years since the 2021 national title. This year's team has a very different vibe to it, just a real toughness and willingness to fight, and huge weekend series win over Vandy last weekend. On the road, no less.
Mm-hmm. Well, Missouri with a first inning run against Easton Rockers, trying to add on in the second. And bounced foul in the 1-2 by Holubowski.
If you're Rockers, you're the guy. I mean, he's a ground ball machine, and see if you can't get Holubowski to roll over something in turn 2.
This 1-2 is swung on and missed. That'll work too. Gets the strikeout on the 9-batter Holubowski for the first out.
I'll tell you, Connor, you don't often think of these low slot guys as 3-pitch pitchers, but that's exactly what Rockers is. The changeup's been excellent. Throws that sinker in there and little frisbee slider.
Now back to the top with Brock Daniels. Oh, that changeup's really got some run to it, doesn't it? We saw him get a strikeout on that in the first inning. And 3 pitches that are dancing for Easton Rockers. And a runner goes from first, throw to second, little bit high, and Funkhauser's tag not in time on Culbertson.
And that right there is what this is the type of baseball Carrick Jackson wants to play. He wants to be athletic defensively, so athletic defenders all over the field, which means guys that can execute offensively. You know, Culbertson right there, the stolen base game, something they want to be part of the mix.
These are really 2 athletic teams that we get to see tonight. If there's a biggest strength of this Mizzou offense, it has been that speed and athleticism. And 4th in the SEC in steals. And Daniels underneath this. Could be playable. Funkhauser and Arnett over, and it's Funkhauser to make the catch. And that retires Daniels for the second man down in the bottom of the second.
You can see that wins. That balls in the air tonight have a chance. There's a chance they're going to be very challenging.
Maybe something we can ask Carrick Jackson about. He's coming up next inning, top of the 3rd. Here's Lovich, who reaches out. Can't hit that off speed at 68 miles an hour.
Yeah, if you're looking to pull the baseball, Rockers is gonna, you're not gonna enjoy his at bat.
Living out away from Jackson Lovich, who he struck out in the first inning, got him swinging. So as a hitter, you up there just thinking right center as a righty all the way?
I might even be thinking, I mean, you got to see it up, first of all, right? The ball's got to be elevated or else it's going to be below the strike zone. You know, as a right-hand hitter, sometimes you're thinking, I want to hit a ball down the first baseline because you're probably going to just naturally pull it anyway.
Oh, he got him swinging a rotation pitch in the midweek here. Javen Pimental. But what'd you like in the inning you got out of him tonight?
It was basically a bullpen day for him. So he tried to do a little bit too much and ends up hitting a guy that he shouldn't have hit, trying to amp it up a little bit more. But good for him to get out there and just, again, get some quick work in. As you talked about earlier, he missed the weekend. So, yeah, that's what the plan was.
Hey, Kirk, as you talk about, building this program, and it's a very young roster, the Hoover is the granddaddy of all conference, college baseball tournaments. How important is it to get this roster, this group to Hoover this year?
I think anytime you can make it to the conference tournaments is important, and we've kind of talked to our guys about that. And as you look back over some of the series where we've had chances, we just haven't played good baseball, and we're challenging them to play good baseball. If we just do that, we put ourselves in a really, really good situation.
Coach Jackson, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, MIZ.
So top three, Colin Shea gets it started for Lindenwood. Back to the top of the lineup for the Lions. And he tops that to short. Culbertson on the charge. And there is one away. Corona did hold on to the bag. And Shea's out number one.
Yeah, I think they're going to look at this one, CO. Culbertson, very talented athlete, and just gaining those repetitions. Hard to be an everyday player as a true freshman, let alone the shortstop in the SEC. Just yanks that throw, and I think, ooh, Corona, what a job he did to hang down. I think he's out, and that's a tremendous play by Danny Corona. I think he's out right there. Boy, what a job by Danny Corona. Just a very difficult play for your first baseman.
Oh, they do stick with the out. Nice job by the most underrated man on the Diamonds, Danny Corona at first base.
It's the money ball scene, CO. Wash, tell him.
It is. Yeah.
It's extremely difficult.
I was going to say, Bill James doesn't have the first baseman high up on his hardest positions to play, but I like it. Most underrated spot on the field.
That's right.
So Cam Edwards out of the two-hole for Lindenwood, up for the second time. And he sprays one foul. This is a guy that P.J. Finnegan very high on, and the more you get a chance to watch some of the tools that Cam Edwards has, you understand why P.J. Finnegan told us he feels like this is a guy that has the potential to be drafted or signed next year to a big league organization.
Yeah, I mean, left-handed hitter and middle of the field, athleticism, twitchy, and you see their strength there in the frame. A lot of upside here.
1-2. There's a breaking ball outside. Edwards was a little bit slow to get his season started. His strength is his speed. He had hip surgery before Lindenwood's season started. And he places that ball in the left center field gap and can use some of that speed. Lovich on a backhand can't dig it out. And Edwards up to second base with a double.
Yeah, I mean, Edwards, this is we're cruising for a double. And, once the Lovich can't really get himself in front of the baseball, Edwards can make an aggressive turn here. Yeah, look at this little flip here right there. CL, you got to share the baseball, share the basketball.
Would have been a hockey assist if they threw him out at second. Not to be.
Standing.
A little Jokic to Murray action, a little two-man game in the outfield.
Count me in on that.
Here's Dawson Hocuff, who spins away from that 2-0.
Boy, Hocuff might need to go make peace with Mizzou. We're really working in on him tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, he got hit in the helmet. First pitch fastball. It's first time up there. That's down 3-0. Still hasn't seen a strike yet.
Yeah, fastball off his helmet, breaking ball in his jersey. I mean, he's a big, strong guy, so a lot of times you need to get in on them. You don't want to let a guy like Hocuff get extended.
Taking on 3-0, and he walks. So 2 free ones for Hocuff. Middle of the lineup up here for Lindenwood. First pitch breaking ball from Jacoby in there to Arnett for a strike.
You're right, Connor. Real opportunity for Lindenwood right here. Jacoby's made some brilliant pitches, and then there's been some consistent misses too.
That's sprayed out to right field. Beeman coming on and can't get there. It's a base hit for Arnett. And Edwards had to hold up on the line drive, stopping at third. And the base is loaded for Lindenwood, top 3.
It felt like, CO, that play just sped up on Beeman in right field. Hocuff is not a runner, obviously a catcher at first base and gets himself caught in between. If Beeman comes up throwing to second base, I don't know that he gets Hocuff, but it sure would have been interesting.
So Chase Honeycutt, chance to drive home the first run. It's upstairs. How much of that you think was influenced by Edwards' fast runner potentially coming around third? Is that any part of the calculus there?
For sure. And also, if you're Beeman, you almost caught it, so that you get a little flustered by the play too.
And to the left side, could be 2, and Cologne. Time. And there's ball 1.
I know that we're showing bunt there and it's a ball, CO, but if you're Danny Corona is really showing you he's locked in on winning baseball games right now. He is draft eligible and just trying to be on base when he's a guy that could swing for the downs and just try to run into a bunch of home runs.
That's exactly what he did last year at Wake Forest. 13 home runs for the Deeks. It took him until late April, but finally got his first and his second last weekend. And now riding a 5-game hitting streak. And out in front of that breaking ball.
Yeah, and Connor, he was prominent down the stretch for Wake Forest. He wasn't a bit player. He was one of the main guys.
He takes strike 3 calls. Daniel Darren into the game, striking out the hot-hitting Danny Corona for out number 1.
Now watch the location on this fastball. It's in, and remember, Rockers had slowed these hitters down big time. They had to stay back, stay back, stay back, and there Darren just rushes that fastball in on his hands.
And Danny Corona turned to home plate umpire Justin Robinson and said, "Really, dude?"
Agree to disagree? Is that what he said?
Something along those lines. I think that's what the thought bubble would have said. And Mateo Cerna swings and misses.
Let's go, Mateo!
And Cerna has caught a lot of these midweek games. Jadier Hernandez, the primary catcher for Missouri. This is skied back of home. Honeycutt off with the mask, and the wind brings that back. Snags that up against the railing. Chase Honeycutt sticking with it to make a nice play behind the plate.
Connor, this ball may have actually left the stadium and come back. It may have been elevated past the stadium. It comes back. Honeycutt does an incredible job not giving up on that play. It was so far foul, he didn't even drop his mask. He caught the ball with his mask in his hand.
That usually tells you, right, that I'm going to give this a little bit of run, but I'm not sure I actually have a play.
Yeah, it was obligatory until it wasn't.
So Honeycutt stealing it out for Daniel Darren to go strikeout, foul out. Now dealing with Justin Colon. The ball he hit a couple innings ago out to second base. That was ruled a hit. And he's on this one out to left center field. Edwards on, and he makes the catch. A lot of life changes for you the last year or so. What's this past year been like for you?
It's been good. Lindenwood's a great place. I'm very fortunate to be here, and to not have to move my family from where I was at to where I am now has been great. But it's a great place. There's a lot of good things going on, and I'm very excited to be here.
Hey, PJ, so you guys are in your Division I transition period, but you could play in the OVC tournament. I mean, for me, number one, that's super cool. But how important is that as you're building the program, and you guys have something you're really chasing right now?
Absolutely. That's been goal number one all year long. We were just wanting to get in the tournament because once you get in the tournament, anything can happen. So that's been at the top of our goal list since the day we all got together this fall.
So that's what's coming up for you in the next couple weeks. For people nationally, PJ, that maybe aren't as familiar with Lindenwood, what makes it a special place that would make a guy want to play there?
Just St. Charles, a great community. School's absolutely beautiful. You come on campus, you get a high-class education, and then from the athletic side of it, there's nothing that was Division II about the facilities and the way we do things. It's all first class, and I think it's just a matter of time before we're successful in all sports.
Hey, PJ, I know it's a Tuesday game, but, you know, in the conference games tend to take precedence. But, you know, this is your in-state club that's an SEC program. I would imagine your guys are pretty juiced up for a game like tonight.
Absolutely. We got a good group of kids that really compete. Doesn't matter where we're playing, if it's a Tuesday, a Friday night game, whatever. So I'm not surprised at what we're doing right now. But there is quite a few Missouri kids that are pretty excited about being here.
I can see the gears turning a little bit. You got some decisions to make in this game. We'll let you go. Thanks, PJ.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
PJ Finnegan named the coach in waiting last year and now taking over in year one at Lindenwood. Year two of that Division I transition. You were talking about rooms.
It was really fun, Connor, in our conversation with PJ Finnegan. I quite honestly, I'm not from the Midwest, and I'm learning about Lindenwood like probably a lot of people are. And I asked him, like, hey, what's the pitch? Just like you did. And I'll tell you, by the end of his pitch, I was in. Like, if there was any eligibility left, make me a Lion, Coach Finnegan.
Are the people in South Bend okay with you saying that?
Yeah, because they know that this version of me is useless. So, yeah, knock yourself out is what they're thinking.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. I mean, the proximity to St. Louis, which PJ Finnegan really likes the high school baseball scene there. He feels that there's a chance to build from the grassroots in the St. Louis area. It's about 30 minutes from campus at Lindenwood to Busch Stadium where the St. Louis Cardinals play. So they're right there.
I also think, Connor, that it's the type, no one's portal proof in this day and age, right? You're going to have transfers, but just the way the school is, 7,000 students, it's going to grow a little bit from there. But to me, it's an awesome size where you feel like you can make an imprint on that campus, but it's not so small that you feel like you're still in high school. And, the chance to play Division I sports for these players and, being near a great city like St. Louis and a great community. I mean, I think it's a school where they're not going to lose a lot of kids to the portal because the players are going to like the school so much.
1-2 to Stellato. It's fouled off. And it just got a little shot of some of the campus at Lindenwood. That's one of the things PJ had shared with us yesterday was you just walk on campus, a lot of people don't even know that it's here. But then when they get here, it's hard for them to leave. And beautiful brick buildings. Poured a lot of money into the infrastructure of the campus. And affordable, too. It's one thing that PJ Finnegan and the Lindenwood coaching staff are really proud of. Private education, but very affordable. And that's down the right field line for Stellato. He hooks that fair down to the corner. And Beeman will have to dig that out. Stellato chugging around second base, headed for third. Relay throw to third is not in time. One out triple, Anthony Stellato, and the tying run 90 feet away for Lindenwood in the fourth.
Looked like a hanging breaking ball that Stellato hammers to the pole side. There it is. Right on left breaking ball. And I'll tell you, Connor, these are the type of midweek games where Mizzou's obviously the favorite. They're the SEC program. And Lindenwood's hanging around. And next thing you know, you're in the second half of the game where anything can happen.
The infield playing back, Mizzou will concede the run, and Mitch Cummins gets the job done. And after Stellato's triple, he scores to make it 1-1.
Runner in scoring position, less than 2 outs. Early in the count is your friend. Middle of the field is your friend. Again, Cummins has no interest or clue what the exit velocity of that is, but it doesn't matter because it's an RBI. That's good offense right there.
And Funkhauser after the first pitch, shallow center. Lovich is there. Bruins, I want your prediction. What was the exit velocity on that?
Probably needs 6 wins there. Maybe 5 gets it done. You know, at the end of the day, play well. You know, Mizzou's going to need to play well for 3 weekends. Javen Pimental being back, that sure doesn't hurt.
It sure doesn't. That's turned on, yanked by Beeman out to deep left field. That's at the fence, and that is gone. Jackson Beeman strikes to give Mizzou the lead. Solo shot to left to start the bottom of the fourth.
As mentioned earlier, CO, I am buying stock in Jackson Beeman. To be this strong and this athletic at the same time. See, he's so athletic in his stance. And this ball is not even your typical home run trajectory. I mean, that's line drive launch angle, but he's so strong, he just runs it out of here.
Well, that's not one that needed a lot of help from that wind that's gusting 25 miles an hour. This is out to Funkhauser, and Garcia's out number 1 in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, I'm with you, CO. The wind never even got in the mix there, right? Like that's just a strength home run.
We played guess that exit velocity last half inning. You want to guess that launch angle on the home run?
Like, I don't know, like 16, 17. I'm probably on the low side. Do you have it? Or you're guessing?
I thought you were going to say solo home run degrees.
No. I'll participate this time. Maybe I don't know. 18 to 20 be my guess.
I don't have it, so the end game of this game is not very fun.
That's right.
I'm sure somebody has it on TrackMan
right.
somewhere in the ballpark.
That's right. Twitter will have it.
Jackson Beeman with Mizzou's first hit since the first inning. And gives him the lead back as Culbertson watches that go by. And Beeman driving out his 6th home run of the season. Oh, okay. So we got a little intel here, Runes.
What do you got?
You were right on it. Not quite down to the decibel, but it was 20.29 degrees, that launch angle.
There you go.
The home run.
My man is strong, Jackson Beeman.
Yeah. 1 out walk to Drew Culbertson. We'll get Holubowski to the plate for the second time.
I gotta say, CO, like I'm really enjoying this look at Mizzou. You know, they're under 500, but they still have a lot to play for. The offense has struggled quite a bit this year by SEC standards, but this team does not play like a team that is struggling with this confidence. There's just a good vibe from this group. Like, it's aggressive. There doesn't seem to be a lot of flinch here. It's a little surprising, quite honestly, given that offense has been a struggle.
And that ramps off the mound. Holubowski with a base hit. Moves Culbertson up to second with one down in the fourth.
I think the best way to cap that would be this doesn't look like a team where baseball is beating it up. I mean, look at that swing right there. That ball's centered and drilled, and Holubowski, that's a good piece of hitting right there.
First hit of Holubowski's college career comes right now. P.J. Finnegan's coming out. The Easton Rockers started this game. Daniel Darren, second guy, trying to complete his second inning. Throwing down there in the Lindenwood bullpen. It's Carson Subert. Pitched the first time against Mizzou back in early March. I'm with you, Runes. The Tigers have struggled to hit this year with at times 6 underclassmen in the everyday lineup. Saw some of them back to back there. Culbertson and Holubowski, both underclassmen and both getting on base. Carrick Jackson really taking a bet on some of the young guys to build around and let them play right away.
Yeah, and you talk to Carrick Jackson, he's a real observer of college baseball. And I just love what he said is like the portal works when you're adding pieces to a real core. Like even LSU, you know, Paul Skeens and Tommy White come in, but Dylan Cruz was already there. Ty Floyd was already there. Beloso, Dugas. So I like this approach. He's building his core.
And Brock Daniels dumps one into center field, base hit. Culbertson around third base. He scores without a play. And it's an RBI single for Brock Daniels. And Missouri with a couple runs up on the board in the fourth.
Boy, Mizzou's hitters have done a really good job staying committed to the middle of the field tonight against some pitchers that are really more in trickery road than challenging you with a fastball. The approach for Mizzou has been spot on.
Three straight base runners against Dan.
Freshmen and underclassmen, but you know, Carrick Jackson he's trying to build a culture. He's trying to build a core of a program, and the only way to do that is to play young guys.
He's got Jackson Lovich at the plate, and there's the first pitch fastball from Subert for strike one. No, one of the older, steadier guys that Mizzou does have is Trevor Austin, who's been there a while. And a ground ball to the right side. That finds space for a base hit. And Lovich with his first hit that drives home another run. As Holubowski touches the plate, and it's 4-1 Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, this is, if you don't have guys that can hit 20 home runs, this is the type of offense you want to play where you just take your hit, pass the baton. And Mizzou has been so good in the middle of the field. Guys taking their knocks, get it to the next guy behind you, and really the only adjustment a pitcher could make right now is fastball in, and I don't really think that's Subert's best offering.
There's Danny Corona swinging at the first pitch and bashing that fair. Down into the corner for Danny Corona. 2 hits in this game. The wave is on at third base. Here comes Lovich to the plate, and he trots home. 2-run double for Danny Corona.
Just love this type of offense. It's really little things leading to a big inning. You know, just good execution, guys taking their hits, and then Corona, you could see Subert actually did try to come in there, and Corona just too much bat speed. Hammers that ball in the right field corner, and Mizzou off and running here.
Well, Lindenwood had just gotten this game tied. Now a 5-run fourth inning and still hitting. With Mateo Cerna out of the cleanup spot up to the plate now. And we show the graphic of the Mizzou struggling offense, and what do?
That's right.
5-run inning. Boom.
They'll show us.
They just needed a little push. Take your graphic, Onion and Runes. Take it home with you. And a good hitter with runners in scoring position. Cerna at 333. With guys out there in scoring position. And that one's poked foul, 2-2.
I would say, CO, like I want to make sure I clarify my comment. You know, Carrick Jackson, I don't want to make it sound like, oh yeah, just play young guys and, you know, build your program. It's that easy. You know, it's hard. Like there's some days these young guys are getting their teeth kicked in. Those numbers are not fake numbers. And so to stay with it and remain patient with these guys, easy to say, hard to do.
Cerna to the opposite field for his second hit of this game. From station to station, Corona down to third to put him at the corners with one down.
Five straight hits and really only one that was just totally pulled. It's just been approach, middle of the field, opposite way. You could tell this team is really starting to buy into what Carrick Jackson is preaching offensively.
In this game, Mizzou has 8 hits from 7 different players, make it 9 hits now. Justin Colon, the 9th batter in this inning. It's already been a 5-run, 6-hit, 2 extra base hit inning for the Tigers. Out in front, 0-2 on Colon. So this is already more runs than Mizzou scored the first time they played Lindenwood. That was a nice, cozy 5-4 game. Lindenwood actually had the tying run at third base in the top of the 9th. And Colon back through the box, but Edwards can't get there. Put the glove up, tried to deke him, and it trickles under the glove to score Corona on another base hit for Missouri. And that is 6 hits in a row for the Tigers to lead 7-1.
I mean, it's a broken record at this point, but middle of the field, middle of the field, middle of the field. They're just wearing it out. And the only adjustment for Subert at this point is, can you start jamming fastballs in on guys? And I just don't think that's the ticket for him.
We do know he has a sinker, a cutter, a change. He has a curve and a slider. He goes off speed to get strike 1 on Jackson Beeman, who started this inning with a homer.
That's a good
Runes,
take.
you've been around the college game for, it was. You've been around the college game a while. What's the biggest repertoire you've seen by number of pitches? Can you think of one guy that had like 9 or 10?
Oh gosh, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of, you know, like I can't think of the guy, but the arsenal is you face the guy that's got 4-seamer, sinker, curveball and slider, cutter and change, maybe working a split. You know, those I worry about those pitchers, Connor. Like the guy, it's like, can we just pick 3 and be good at them?
This is airborne. Edwards and Shea come together. It's Shea that makes the catch. And 2 away. The rarest of rare in Major League Baseball, thrown a complete game. Pitched again on Sunday Night Baseball.
What's interesting too, CO, is a lot of those kids were like, they're the prototype for Mizzou, right? Like they're your classic Midwest kids who are athletes, who are late bloomers on the mound.
Makes it that much more impressive, right? Tim Jamison identified him in some cases, had some guys that were projects and turned them into major leaguers.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you get nervous about transferring in this day and age, but, you know, Carrick Jackson will tell you if it was good enough for Max Scherzer and Ian Kinsler, then it's good enough for anybody.
Towering drive to center. The wind is taking it. And goodbye. 25-mile-an-hour winds give Matt Garcia a bomb out to left for his second home run.
Boy, that looked catchable off the bat, did it not? And that ball got up in the jet stream and leaves off the bat, felt catchable. Once it got airborne, this is a no-doubter. I mean, this ball ends up being, it's really a nice swing. It's a breaking ball down, and Garcia does a nice job getting after it, but you can see the flags are humming, and that ball gets way out of here.
And Drew Culbertson back up there for the second time this inning. Now 2 away with the bases clear after 3-run shot for Garcia. Every single Mizzou hitter has reached safely tonight after that Garcia home run. Every spot except this one has a hit. Culbertson's been on both times with a walk.
Yeah, to your point, Sia, the Mizzou hitter group telling us to hashtag stuff our graphic, huh? I mean, response received.
That's the exact hashtag I had cooking in my own brain. Hashtag stuff your graphic. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, we get the heat for the announcers jinx every once in a while. I think Team Graphics in the Columbia, Missouri control room, they get the responsibility of waking up the Tigers tonight. 2-2. Swung on and missed. So I think the chicken actually gets the win, and the egg. Here's Victor Quinn, new pitcher for Missouri after that 9-run inning. Got the Tigers from 1-1 to 10-1 in a hurry. Ground ball pulled through the 5-6 hole base hit. So Lindenwood with Colin Shea on base for the first time out of the leadoff spot.
If you're Lindenwood, there's, as Mizzou just showed you, there's a chance for offense tonight. Now, this is a good opportunity for Quinn. You can see the walks are high based on innings pitched, and this is the type of outing where you can settle in and figure some things out.
Cam Edwards doubled last time, and that goes through the glove of Mateo Cerna. Colin Shea to second. That's one of those random balls that Carrick Jackson was talking about. Mateo Cerna, an elite pitch framer. Carrick Jackson talked a lot about that. Said if there's one weakness, there's just like a random passed ball per game that it seems to get through the webbing for Cerna. Sawed off, foul 1-2.
Receiving for catchers is like offensive line play. You don't notice it until it's bad sometimes, and I just think being a young catcher, to be able to concentrate for 120 to 150 pitches is very challenging. There's just a lot on your plate behind the dish there.
And that will go as a wild pitch, by the way, officially. No passed ball on Mateo Cerna. He has really helped out this pitching staff, especially at the bottom of the zone. That's where he's Showing off those great pitch framing responsibilities. He blocks that, throws to first to complete the strikeout. And Cam Edwards down swinging for the first out, and Lindenwood fifth.
Boy, Cerna does a nice job keeping his composure here. This could very easily have been rushed into not getting the out at first base. The ball just doesn't get out in front of him where he wanted it. And you know Edwards is flying down the line. It's a nice job by Cerna and Corona. That's not an easy play.
Right in the teeth of this Lindenwood lineup. And Dawson Hocuff hoping to swing away for the first time. Seen 6 pitches tonight. None of them in the zone yet. What do we got here?
Look, Cerna go hustle after the, of all the people to hustle after the donut and put it away, the guy in full battle gear. I love it. That's how catchers are wired, CO.
Always
very
active.
Unselfish humans.
It's in there for a strike, 1-1. The selfless rate on every catcher you've ever met, 100%.
I mean, there's always an exception, but yes, it's a very, they grade out very high in the selfless category.
I'm not going to ask you to name names, but I just feel like somebody popped into your mind when you said, yeah, most of them. Exceptions, though.
Yeah. There are some guys that are back there replaying at bats when they should be focused on framing pitches, but let's not name names.
2-1 on Hocuff. He's 3-1. And Cerna's back there tonight for Mizzou, giving a little extra rest for Jadier Hernandez, who typically catches on the Friday and Saturday games for Mizzou. Little hamstring injury for Hernandez. And it's ball 4. And Hocuff has reached all 3 times tonight.
Yeah, Hocuff from L.A. Harbor Community College. That is an old school baseball program right there. You know, for Mizzou, Connor, like getting Victor Quinn going would be huge. I mean, this stuff is the fastball by synergy. You're averaging 93.6 miles an hour, and this slider is 86 miles an hour. That's a real pitch.
And right at 86 to Bryson Arnett for a first pitch strike. It spins him 2 good ones to get ahead 0-2.
Yep. This time of year, you really love to see 2 or 3 or 4 relievers get on it, and you can shorten your pitching staff this time of year, and 6 or 7 guys on a roll, and you got something.
Next week with some of the best matchups. That's 7 Eastern, 6 Central on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Well, 2 batters ago, we saw the good fastball to Hocuff. Now all sliders since then, and he gets the chase to get ahead 0-2 on Honeycutt.
I mean, you are seeing this is an option for Quinn, is come in a big spot weekend or Tuesday night and just start ripping that slider.
I'm going to guess he throws him another one here.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Well, rushed it up there at 94.
Yeah, it's like the fastball is it's kind of a sexy pitch right now because it's got a big number to it, but it's just not super functional. That's the slider is, this is the pitch.
2-2. Couldn't drop it down, 3-2. Action pitch here. Shea will be off from second, Hocuff from first with 2 outs. And the full count. And just missed the top of the zone. Oh, Quinn is bending over, reacting visibly to a call he thought he should have had. Instead, it's a walk, bases loaded.
Yeah, and I think Victor Quinn's reaction is such that, I mean, you know, that's a ball, that's up. but he's a guy that I'm sure feels like if he throws more strikes, he will pitch more. And so, you know, it's 2 walks in this inning. You're caught in between, right? The slider is a very attractive pitch, but the free passes are problematic. So it feels like Victor Quinn's close.
We'll get a pinch hitter here. James Jett was hitting out of this spot in the lineup. It's Ambrose Russo. One of the guys that we mentioned is in that right field rotation for Lindenwood. We have 4 different guys that they're playing around with in right field. We'll get to take his first at bat of the season with the bases loaded. Quinn to the pinch hitter, Russo. Upstairs. It's that pitch you were just talking about, that, you know, similar location. Throw more strikes, maybe you get the call.
Boy, isn't that interesting, Connor? He threw that one fastball, and it was, you know, was not a super competitive pitch, and lost the feel for the slider right in that moment, and now fighting to get it back. There it is.
And he does get it back. So he goes 2-0 slider. The pinch hitter Russo. 2-1. He spins him another one. Does get the top part of the zone that time.
Got to throw it again.
Bases juiced. 2 outs, the 2-2. Russo pops it up. Looks playable. Third baseman Colon is there to make the catch. Holubowski leads it off and charges this one to center field. This one will not carry. And Edwards on the first pitch of the 5th retires Holubowski for the first out.
Might be being a little hypercritical given that there's 10 runs on the board, but for Mizzou, when the at-bats have been patient and middle of the field centric, they've really had good offense all night. And they've been a little antsy making some outs early, though.
This was Brock Daniels' spot in the lineup. R.J. Jimerson has grabbed a bat. A 111 hitter on the year, looking for his first home run. Good day for a righty to go after his first. Win Holland to left. And Jimerson gets hit by the pitch. Welcome to the game, R.J. Jimerson. One pitch, he's on base.
Oh, that is so great. Now, the good news is it's not cold, Connor, because if it's cold, this is like a catastrophe. But you're excited, you get in a bat, you're fired up, and next thing you know, ouch.
Mm-hmm. Well, the guys sitting right behind home plate, they're kind of the mirror of everything that's going on as far as the reaction to the players. So the 3 guys right there, especially the guy in the Mizzou colored shirt going, ooh.
Yeah.
Jimerson looked all right, though.
It's quite the jersey there, isn't it?
Yeah. Mizzou hat to match.
Regarding uniforms, Connor, Mizzou last weekend had these gold tops with the black pants. It was amazing. It looked very 1970s Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm all in on that look.
And the Tigers looked like they would be at home at Three River Stadium. That's what you're saying?
Yes. I was waiting for Willie Stargell to take an AB.
Here's the 0-1 to Lovich. He turns and cranks that foul.
Love the youngsters wearing their unis to the ball game. Doesn't get better than that.
Here's the 0-2. It's outside. I was pumped to hear we're getting Players Weekend back in Big League Baseball this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Nicknames will be out midsummer.
Oh, that's awesome. That's an outstanding promotion.
I agree. The Little League weekend is always fun too.
Yes.
Big leaguers go to Williamsport. 1-2 to Lovich from Michael Walsh, who worked part of that 4th inning. It's through the glove of Honeycutt, but no movement from Jimerson. Counts 2-2.
So interesting. 2 sophomores, Jackson Lovich and Jackson Beeman. Just great frames, athletic guys. Getting a lot of reps this year, a lot of repetitions. I could see them both being real breakout candidates for 2025.
He spanks that to left, base hit past the lunge of Funkhauser. Second hit of the day for Jackson Lovich.
So just getting caught up on SEC highlights. It is so amazing. So awesome.
Swung on and missed. Danny Corona. I know you're a fan favorite when you're in the studio too. Adam Core, who's the third base coach, he also handles the run game and the catching for Lindenwood. We got a chance to catch up a little bit today, and he said, "We got Mike Rooney on this game? How did that happen?"
What did we do wrong? Why is ESPN mad at us?
That is not how he meant it.
No. I owe everything to squeeze play, Cotter. Everything to squeeze play.
He said we can only hope we get a bucket hat for a Lindenwood Mizzou game.
Oh, count me in on that. Yeah, it's that time around the corner, CO. Like, who are this year's Penn Quakers, or who is this year's Oral Roberts? Let's go.
Lindenwood has to wait a few years to be
That's right.
in that category. We mentioned before they're making the transition from Division II. So it's 2027. That's the first time that they can be on Penn Quaker or Oral Roberts watch, crashing the party in the NCAA tournament.
So awesome that they can play in the OVC tournament, though. I think that is really cool.
1-2 to Corona. And did that get a piece of him? Looks like it did. The second hit batter of the inning loads up the bases.
Okay, CO, I'm going to say this. If I'm Mark Kingston of South Carolina, see, Corona sells it too. I mean, doesn't look like it maybe just clipped him. If I'm Mark Kingston of South Carolina, I got to bring my team to Columbia, which we know what happened when the Florida Gators came up here earlier in the year. You know, South Carolina's team is probably really feeling it after a huge series win over Kentucky last weekend. Javen Pimentel back in the rotation. This offense looking the way it is. Danny Corona has had great at-bats. This series looks really interesting this weekend to me.
I'm with you. A couple close losses to Tennessee. Mizzou was right there. They could have flipped that series around. Gotten a top 5 series win on the road. Couple plays away. You know, I thought that we would get a little bit more of the glass half full from Carrick Jackson after they came within 2 runs of potentially winning that series against Tennessee, but it was kind of the opposite. He used the quote. He's a big quote guy. Carrick Jackson is. The one he used with his team after Tennessee was, "Change occurs when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change."
Wow.
That's what he told us. That's what he told his team after the Tennessee game on Saturday.
Boy, now there's some depth to that quote. Oh my gosh. I may need an inning off, CO.
Woo. You fell back in your chair. Swinging a tip foul that's caught by Honeycutt for the strikeout of Cerna.
That is
you want me to
deep.
give you that again so you can?
Yes, please. That was amazing.
Okay. So this was Carrick Jackson's quote to his team after they were swept by Tennessee. Change occurs when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change.
Oof. That is profound.
It took me about 4 times to hear it and really let it sink in and remember all of it
down. Yeah.
And that's a quote from the author Tony Robbins. That's where he said he got it. And he just felt like his guys, they're a little bit comfortable with quote unquote banging their head against the wall and doing the same thing over and over again. An outside edge for Walsh. Ahead of Cologne 0-2.
Yeah, talking to Carrick Jackson earlier in the year, he used the expression "no opportunities wasted," and basically saying like, look, we're not just going to dump a bunch of at bats into some young guys and hope for the best. Like, this has got to be a real two-way investment.
Did Cologne go? He did not. Two-way investment meaning we're going to invest in you as a staff, but you got to invest back.
Yeah, like, and
right?
The players can't, it's not just, hey, like, I get my 150 at-bats and go to summer ball. It's like they want to see growth. They want to see change. They want to see maturity in those at-bats.
And Cologne ropes that to left field, and a little zigzag out there for Shea before reeling it in. Lou passed away a couple years ago, 81 years old, after his Hall of Fame career. And Ben Peterson into the game for Missouri. He relieves Victor Quinn in this 6th inning. Anthony Stellato hit his first triple of the year last time up and looks at a breaking ball for a strike. Did you ever have a run-in with Lou Brock? Did you ever get to meet him?
Never met him. I would have loved that. He's a legend, obviously. One of those guys you think stolen base, right? Like he's iconic to a part of the game, a play in the game.
When it's not intentional, Stellato out to second base, routine for Garcia, and there's one down. It's not intentional as an homage to Lou Brock, how Lindenwood plays, but I think that Lou Brock would like how this P.J. Finnegan Lindenwood team plays, with how they steal bases and how athletic they are.
Yeah, 100%. And, I also think when you're thinking about Lindenwood and something you said earlier, Connor, like St. Louis has awesome baseball. Like, it is a really underrated, cool baseball town. And that's the amateurs and the pros. Obviously the Cardinals fan base is famous, but the amateur baseball in St. Louis is very, very good.
It's going to be a fertile ground. You got 2 first-year head coaches in this game, Carrick Jackson for Mizzou and P.J. Finnegan. A little closer to the St. Louis Cardinals, 30 minutes away from Busch Stadium at Lindenwood. It was interesting that P.J. Finnegan was talking about how he wants homegrown high school guys, that to be the core of this program that he's building. And the really acute awareness that he had to how the other area teams were recruiting. Cummins walks. He's on with 1 out for Lindenwood. He looked at his alma mater, who I know you covered this weekend. They're going a lot of portal guys at Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. He was at SIUE before. Of course, he's very aware of what Mizzou is doing. He thinks there's kind of a unique in the recruiting ground to get a lot of those St. Louis guys.
Yeah, and I think Lindenwood, what we've learned about the school is it is a school that will attract guys that are, high school recruits. And, he was not, P.J. Finnegan was in no way criticizing other people's recruiting plans. For SIU and Lance Rhodes, it's working. They're averaging 40 wins a game over the last 3 years, recruiting very heavily into junior colleges and transfers. And so I think having a solid identity in recruiting as opposed to just chasing talent, that moves the needle.
And that will get them closer to some of those details you just saw on that graphic of moving from Division II to Division I into the Ohio Valley Conference. And they will be NCAA tournament ready by 2027. That's when they're eligible for the first time. You said it before, Runes. It's great. They get to play in the Ohio Valley Conference tournament. If they win it, they can't go to the NCAA tournament, but they still get a chance to play in the postseason, which I think that's an important part of their transition, to get that shot in the postseason.
100%. You know, sometimes coaches, if you talk to coaches about conference tournaments, they don't always love it. You know, you get some weird body language. Now, of course, for PJ Finnegan, that is their NCAA tournament, right? Like, that's what they're playing for. But for me, conference tournaments in baseball, those are for fans and for players. Players love them.
Funkhauser shoots that to the hole and into left field. His first hit in this midweek game for Lindenwood. Those are for fans and for players. What do you mean?
You know, like I think
conference
for fans, you can see all these great players in one place. Like if you're a fan and you go to Hoover, you know, like Charlie Condon and Hunter Hines and Tommy White, and you know, just go through the great position players in the SEC. They're in one spot. That's in one location. I tell people all the time, Connor, sorry about that Hoover should be on your baseball bucket list if you've never been there. I was there a couple years ago. It's a Tuesday night game. LSU, Tuesday night. It's a school night. And LSU and Mississippi State are playing in Hoover. 11,000 fans. It was nuts. I mean, it's so, if you love baseball, you'll love Hoover.
Well, Mizzou hopes to join that group. Talked about it a little bit earlier. They're one game back, being in that spot. They'll be inside the top 12. Playing the conference tournament Memorial Day week. It's in there for a strike from Peterson. Two 2-1 to Shea. And backs him up 3-1. Cummins and Funkhauser on, 3 balls and a strike to the leadoff hitter for Lindenwood, who's 1 for 3. And Shea watches ball 4 go by. Second straight inning, they load up the bases.
Can be a real vicious circle for relievers. You know, you don't throw enough strikes, and so you don't get many opportunities. And then when you do get an opportunity, you really press, and it's hard to get on a roll in the middle of the season in circumstances like this. But again, like if you're Tim Jamison, you're going to give the ball to the guys that you trust to pound the strike zone. That's the way you earn innings.
So now the base is loaded against Ben Peterson. A couple of walks and a single. He's got the 2 through 4 hitters coming up. Edwards, Hocuff, and Arnett. And Cam Edwards takes ball 1. Saw the lightning quick legs of Edwards on that double back in the 3rd inning. That's downstairs. Cerna saves a run with that backhand pickup. Not the ratio Peterson wants there.
Yep. When it's been in the zone, the breaking ball especially has been good, but just not enough competitive pitches.
Wow. Chase there.
Yeah, if you're Edwards, that you had a chance to really center something there, and you chase ball 3. See if Peterson can take advantage of that.
The selection or the craftsmanship of making the Air Jordans?
Yeah, all of that. Yes,
All of it.
Everything you said. Oh boy.
Everybody all right down there?
That's one of those ones where people duck after the ball's gone past them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, wow. So Edwards sends strike 2 whizzing by and jams this out to third base. It's cut off by Cologne. And now 2 down with everybody staying put with the bases loaded.
Cam Edwards helped Ben Peterson by chasing that 2-0 slider that was really ball 3, but since then Peterson's made a couple nice pitches. See if he can find a little momentum here.
There's Dawson Hocup with the bases full, and he's after the first pitch and shoots it high up into the sky. And this is playable for the shortstop Culbertson, and the inning is over. Slider, according to PJ Finnegan.
Well, this makes a fun matchup then, because Brighty's slider against Jackson Beeman, a right-handed hitter. That's going to be important for him to be able to handle a pitch like that.
Beeman had the home run earlier. Kick started the 9-run inning. It's been the difference for Mizzou. It was a 1-run game at that point. It is still Cummins out in right field, by the way. Here's Beeman's home run from earlier, an absolute rocket that got out quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Beeman is this kind of rare combination of strength and also bat speed, and that ball just rockets out of here. He's 230 pounds, Connor. I mean, I wouldn't have guessed that at all. Like, he's carrying that like a runner, like a middle of the field guy.
What would you have guessed, right? At 2 bills, something like that?
I was going to say 210, maybe. I mean, I hate to put this comp on somebody, but the build has a little bit of Trout to it, you know, like the big lower half.
It's outside for ball 4. 5-pitch walk to Mike Trout's comp. Garcia also homered behind him in that 4th inning. Hit a 3-run shot up into the jet stream.
It did a nice job sinking into his legs and working below that slider right there, and let Mother Nature do the rest.
It's in for a strike. Since we're playing the comp game now, you got one for Matt Garcia?
Ooh. He looks like there's a little bit of Francisco Lindor vibe, you know, like switch hitter, very actiony middle infielder.
You know what I was going to say? Was Rafael Furcal.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, he's more like Furcal's height for sure. Boy, Furcal was redefined twitchy, didn't he?
Yeah. Both sides for the great Braves teams, late 90s, early 2000s. I see the Lindor thing. That wasn't on my mind until you said it. One, 2.
No pressure,
we
but
can both.
I've comped Lindor and Trout this inning. You know, it's
right.
Very fair to college players.
I think we have justification here with Garcia, switch hitter, and we both threw a couple of switch hitting middle infielders out there.
That's right.
Ground ball up the middle. There's one. Turn to first is in time. Double play. Stellato to Funkhauser. Over to Hocup for the 4-6-3.
That's a really nice turn. Off the bat, you're thinking hit. And Stellato does a nice job turning his back, staying under control. That is not an easy turn. Well done.
Two-way in the 6th. Base is clear for Culbertson. He watches that spin out. Any more comps in the back of your head here? We've gone Lindor and Trout.
Yeah, Ted Williams. I'm trying to think of my all-time great players. Hey, Funkhauser here. So this is interesting. That his dad's the head coach, Tim, at Edwardsville High School in Illinois. I'm telling you, Connor, that program has been good at baseball like for 100 years. I had a college teammate, Tom Price from Edwardsville, who was awesome. Incredible left-handed breaking ball.
Now, Funkhauser's dad, Tim, the head coach there, but a Hall of Fame head coach there. He was put in a couple of different Hall of Fames as Culbertson got plunked here.
If you're going to get plunked by a backed up breaking ball right there.
I feel like Edwardsville is good in every sport. Put out several good basketball players. They're back-to-back state champions right now in the state of Illinois, by the way.
Really?
With Evan Funkhauser's dad as their head coach.
And that's not an easy state to win.
It's usually a lot of the upstate teams, Chicagoland area, that take home state out of the Metro East. Edwardsville, back-to-back years. And P.J. Finnegan said that Evan Funkhauser's everything you'd think of when you think coach's kid, too. I mean, it all goes through him in the middle of the infield. Holubowski in a 2-1 count. Skies at foul.
If you're Evan Funkhauser's guidance counselor, he comes in for the meeting, you're like, get out of here. You're going to coach. You know you're going to coach. Everybody that's ever met you knows you're going to coach. Carry on.
Cancel his guidance counselor meeting? His future's already determined.
That's right. And he's going to be a great coach. I'd be shocked if he wasn't.
Well, it came up and in. They're calling that a foul ball. Didn't that get him the knob?
I'm trying to think of a worse way to accumulate a strike than a foul ball off the knob of your bat.
Swinging and missing on a pitch that hits you, maybe?
Yeah, that is the worst. That's the ultimate embarrassment. Yes, well said.
2-2. And that skips past Honeycutt. And Culbertson up to second safely. Well, that could be the potential winning run. There's a 10-run rule after 7 innings in effect. Lindenwood would still get their 7th inning at bat as Holubowski walks. So 2 on in the bottom of the 6th.
Holubowski's had a couple nice at bats today. That's a good walk right there.
And picked up his first college hit, scored his first run of this game back in the 4th. He'll try to do it behind the bat of R.J. Jimerson, who pinch hit for Brock Daniels last time through the order. And Jimerson laces that to shallow right center, in for a base hit. Culbertson never stops running on the crack of the bat, and he's in to make it a 10-run Missouri lead. RBI number 2 of the season for R.J. Jimerson. And J.D. Hernandez resting up that sore hamstring. And pinch hitting for Lovich out of this spot, Stevens. The 1-0.
Connor, can I tell you what I like about the 10-run rule in college baseball? Because this is the first year that it's really been prominent across the country. it inserts drama into games that have kind of lost drama.
You mean with, like in this case, Culbertson was the potential winning run? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and it's like these at bats get juiced up a little bit, and like 10-1, the game's it's lost its juice a little bit, but you know, with the 10-run rule, it changes.
Well, Stevens out to left center field and on the run and past the glove of Shea. Jimerson around third base, he scores. And a ringing double for Juju. Stevens drives home 2 more for the Tigers.
Well, that's been a theme all night for Mizzou. They have really controlled the middle of the field. Just knock after knock, singles, doubles in the 2 gaps. Considering that pitch was up and away, that's an impressive piece of hitting.
Well, 2 big innings tonight, the 4th and the 6th for Missouri. 9 in the 4th, 3 more here in the 6th. And Danny Corona up there for the 5th time, working on a 2-hit night. That's behind him. Sending Stevens down to third. Catch that, Runes? Fan right behind home said, "What was that for?"
He's having a night, my man in the gold Royals jersey.
Yeah, he is.
Now, truth be told,
What's
it
the
was
better-
a slider behind the hitter, but
Right. So that wasn't a. You've been beating us up for a couple hits, couple runs.
yeah, if you're trying to send a message, I'm not sure slider behind you is really all
Runes,
caps.
who has the better drip tonight? The fan behind home, our camera operator with the bucket hat, or Carrick Jackson with the Jordans?
Carrick, Wyatt, Fan, in that order. No offense.
The fan puts his hands on his head at that ranking.
He didn't like it.
He was
But
That was a good pickup by you on the shoes, by the way. Hi, Wyatt. Oh, that got Corona. Hit for a 2nd time tonight, on for a 4th time.
yeah, I'll tell you too, like that at bat was not going well. He had swung through 2 fastballs and then 2 strikes. He hung in there to take the hit by pitch. I'm just telling.
In the final 3 weeks of the year, on the outside by 1 game as of today. South Carolina coming up this weekend to Columbia, with Auburn and Mississippi State to follow. Matt James, the new pitcher for Lindenwood, faces Mateo Cerna. And ouch. Ooh. Crumbles down in the foul ball.
That hurts. It's, you know, just to finish that thought from earlier when we were talking about Hoover, Connor, like, you know, Jack Caglione, Tommy White, Charlie Condon, Hagen Smith, Braden Montgomery. I mean, it's a bunch of big leaguers that are going to be there. Aye. He folded like a table.
Yeah. Well, it could be a bunch of big leaguers next year, by the way. Not
Right.
several years away. That's over to third. And Arnett does put an end to the inning. Pulled Hocuff off the bag, but he's there. It's kind of like a safe situation, right?
That's right. Love where your head's at.
So Levitt will try to lock it down. Final midweek game for Mizzou. It's Jack Meyer up at the plate for Lindenwood. And there's strike 1 to him.
That's when you know the season's getting serious, CO. Like the midweek games are wrapping up. The final weekend is actually Thursday to Saturday as teams get ready for conference tournament. It's really amazing how quickly this season's gone, and it really ratchets up from here.
Fan behind home plate's trying to move up your fashion rankings. Starting a slow clap. 2-2. Count goes full. What are you most interested in finding out over the final 3 weeks of SEC play? What are you most curious about, Runes?
You know, like one thing that's top of mind is Mississippi State. Can they stay on the run that they're on and host? Which would be, you know, hosting in Starkville. That's a different animal.
Meyer on at first after the walk, and a bouncing ball. Cologne to second. One, turn to first, is in time for the double play. All the way around the horn for the 5-4-3.
Yeah, that's the other thing the Submariners can do. They're tough on righties, and they can roll up a double play with anybody. Justin Cologne, remember, this is a middle infielder by trade, and that's what it almost looked like, a 6-4-3 double play. Very pretty.
And Garcia had the arm strength to get it over there to complete it. Now Russo, last chance for Lindenwood. Lindenwood will head into their final couple of weeks of OVC play in a very similar position to Mizzou. They're a game back of the top 8 in the OVC. Got to be in the top 8 to get in the conference tournament there. 2-0.
And that's fun.
Offense-heavy league, that OVC.
Yes. Yes.
Around the conference, really outside of Lindenwood. A lot of hitter-friendly ballparks.
A lot of
Morehead
homer-friendly
State.
ballparks, too.
Oh. Yeah, Morehead State, if you've never checked out the dimensions there, do yourself a favor. To left center, it's 400 feet, which puts it in your mind. You're thinking, oh, that's a pitcher's friendly ballpark. But no, it's 305 to right center there. It's outside for ball 4. Russo keeps this game going.
Yeah, it's the OVC. You do think of that. You think of real physical power hitters. You think of ballparks that play to that.
Anthony Stellato fouls off the first pitch. Not Lindenwood, though. They've got a ballpark 405 to center field. Wind blows in most of the time, so they've had to build their team a little bit differently than Morehead State, SEMO, some of the other teams in that league.
Reminds me of Kentucky, CO. You know, Kentucky Proud Park is not, a lot of the SEC ballparks do play on the smaller side. They play for power, but Kentucky Proud Park is big, and Nick Mingione has had to recruit a team that plays to that.
You think that's advantage or disadvantage? Building different than what the rest of the league requires.
I think it really, if your team's good enough, they figure it out.
Now to right center field. That's down for Stellato, who's bidding for extra bases for the second time. Russo cruises into third, and Stellato hangs on with a single. His third reach in this game, his second hit. Keeps this game alive.
Boy, is it me, Connor, or Anthony Stellato's really stood out tonight? Like, the defense has been good, and he's had some really quality at bats.
I'm with you.
Around in the 7-hole there.
Yeah. That's one thing P.J. Finnegan said. He's done a great job improving his defense. Mitch Cummins try to keep the line moving. Remember, Lindenwood needs to get this within 10 runs. They need to get it to 9 or less to keep the game alive. In for a strike to Cummins. And Cummins would be the run to keep the game alive if he can reach and come around to score. And for a strike from Lovett. And the Tigers 1 strike away from winning their final midweek game of the year. Before South Carolina comes here this weekend. The slow clap is back on. The 1-2.
Did he just tell the umpire to focus? Please tell me that's what he said.
Better that that was the word that started with that letter. That is a called strike 3. Lovett wraps it up for Missouri. They sweep the season series against Lindenwood and win.